DeWitt Scott here for Moraine Reads, and the book I want to discuss for today is a book entitled Boys Among Men, How the Prep to Pro Generation Redefined the NBA and Sparked a Basketball Revolution. This book is a detailed history of NBA players who jumped straight to the NBA out of high school. It chronicles the lives or the experiences of a number of these guys. It talks about the more successful guys that we're familiar with, Lebron James, Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, but it also juxtaposes their stories with those who had very tragic endings. D'Angelo Collins or Corleone Young or even Leon Smith, who's here from Chicago. And it is a really good book as it details a step-by-step process for a lot of different guys, the way they made their decisions, what influenced their decisions. And I think it's a very good book at this point in time because there's so much talk about the NCAA being an exploitative institution for college players. And this book, by it being what I consider a down the middle sort of fair book, looking at both sides, it is great for that conversation. Anyone that's trying to make a conversation for or against, this really is a text that you need to really look into and reference when it comes to that issue. One of the best books that I've ever read in terms of basketball. I'm a huge basketball fan, and I really loved it as a basketball book. I think it's a great book to read in conjunction with this book here. It's titled Showboat, The Life of Kobe Bryant. God bless Kobe, may he rest in peace. This book details Kobe's entire life from childhood all the way until his retirement from the NBA. But when reading in conjunction with this book, you look specifically at his jump from high school to the NBA. And you see in this book, and somewhat in this book a little bit, but you see more definitively in this book, the role that the shoe companies played or still plays in these young men when they jump into the NBA. Specifically with Kobe, he was the first guard, per se, short, little guy, he was 6'6". He's the first guard to jump straight from the NBA into high school. And his senior year in high school, he signed a $1 million contract with Adidas. Once he signed that contract, he was no longer eligible to go to college. So it sort of, it's part of his plan to get to the NBA. But when you see the role that Nike and Adidas and these other large shoe companies play, they offer these young men contracts in their senior years of high school for $1 million, $2 million. And once they sign those contracts, they have to go to the NBA. But the incentive is you sign a contract. So if you don't make it to the NBA, at least you have this $1 million contract from Nike. At least you have it from Adidas. You have gotten some money versus going to college to get no money. It's a really good book. As I said, both of them in conjunction, really great for basketball heads and people who talk about the NCAA and college basketball and the right for NBA players or young men to jump straight to the NBA. So check these out.